help of Christians. And this is actually, okay, prove me wrong on one little. Apollo, they appear as doesn't matter what kind of the Rosicrucian Pelican is Apollo. Christ being the new soul's life, feeding its children. The sacred altar that we're standing at. I think people don't realize the significance of where I am. This is a sacred altar right here. Okay? And look at what's on the sacred altar. You have the sun in the background. The golden sun. And look at the sun's wings, the sun's arms, signified by the swan of Zeus, the swan of Apollo. Right? The sun's wings carrying the sun's life, feeding its children, feeding it with its own blood, its own solar explosions and life and eruptions, its own blood. The sun's wings feeding its own children. Jesus Christ being the new solar king. Right? Do you not see this? Do you not understand how Zeus appears as a golden swan to make his hybrid children? Same as Apollo. Of all things to put on the altar, this is the most sacred of messages. That the sun's intelligence feeds us. It's not a pelican. It's a swan. Even a pelican, it could be the same thing. Pelican, bleeding heart, swan, same thing. It just doesn't have that big jaw of a pelican. Well, even the pelican, it's the same Rosicrucian, the Rosicrucian pelican, the swan, it's the same thing. It's the white wings of the sun. It has no fish in its mouth. It's feeding its children from its own wound. It's feeding its children from the sun. The whole point of it is it's the sun. Forget about whether it's a pelican or a swan. It doesn't matter what kind of bird it is. It's the sun's wings, the sun's life, the sun's own blood that's feeding its children. It doesn't matter what kind of bird it is, for Christ's sakes. Doesn't matter what kind of bird it is. Who gives a crap? It's a white bird. That's not even what kind of bird it is. It doesn't matter. Zeus, Apollo, they appear as swans. They appear as dolphins. They appear as all sorts of creatures. Wolves. It doesn't matter. It's a representation of the sun. The sun's it's a cosmic creature. I know all of you just want to prove me wrong on one little point so bad, but it's okay. Listen, the point of it is it's the sun, the wings of the white bird, and the beak of the white bird is carrying the codes, the life, the source of the sun to its children. Okay? So the sun on the altar, the God, is feeding us not just life, but knowledge, spiritual knowledge, spiritual food. And this is actually, this temple, I know for a fact, is a temple that's built from the premonition of Don Bosco. Don Bosco had a dream. I've read it 3 times in my life, his book. It's a book of all he was a dream seer. And he had premonitions in his dreams. One of them being with this very Muslim looking chapel, where he saw this in the water, and on the side of it, it said help of Christians, Mary help of Christians. And this was, Mary was involved with it, with the blue and red angels, or seraphim, you know. It says, pray for thy children on the side up here. I don't know if you could see it on the top of the chapel. Well, I guess it might be, yes, it is a pelican. It is a pelican. I get the comments. It's a pelican, but it's a representation of the mother goddess version of a sun solar myth. I get it. But it's the intelligence of the sun behind it. You understand? The sun in the background. The shattered sun with the mother feeding its children. Yes, that's all hidden codes right in there. But the point of it all is that it's on an altar to the Catholic Church. And to say that solar worship isn't the root of it all is ridiculous. I'm glad everybody is here, because yeah, it is a pelican. Yeah, I'm seeing that now for sure. But the reason why I figured it was a swan, I wasn't even really looking at the beak. The reason why I figured right off it was a swan, not only because it was white, because Zeus and Apollo with the sun, you know, right away I was thinking swan, because the long neck of the bird, and because of all of the solar mythology, I know that it relates the solar deities with swans. So, but yeah, that was a good catch. That is a pelican, probably, most likely. But it doesn't, the beak doesn't look, see, pelicans have a big, huge jaw. There's no big jaw on that. That's a swan neck and a swan head. So, I don't know if you guys know what pelicans look like, but pelicans have a huge hanging jaw. And that friggin' thing had a very small beak and did not have a hanging jaw whatsoever. So I still challenge you on that pelican thing, actually, because there's no hanging jaw there. I've seen pelicans in person. I've fed pelicans before, for Christ's sakes. I've fed them before in my life. I've literally fed pelicans, and they have hanging jaws that are visible. Big, huge ones. They don't have just narrow beaks like that look with nothing underneath hanging. They have big hanging things underneath. So I still think that might be a swan, because swans and pelicans are in both Rosicrucians and other secret societies as well. So they're both used. The Knights Templars even use the swan as well. They use the Holy Cygnus, the stately swan. So I don't even know if you're right about that with the pelican, actually. I still think it might be a swan. Especially we're here on the Hudson River. This is right on the Hudson. Hudson is right there. I don't know if you can see it, but right there, that's the Hudson, right on the other side of those trees. And that was called Shutamuk by the Native Americans, which means the stately Cygnus, the stately swan. So I actually think it still might be a swan. Go look up online. Pelicans got big hanging jaws. I don't know where's the Aphrodite one that was saying so much about pelicans now. Oh, Tone, no doubt. The shungite? Yeah, dude. Did you see that shungite? That shungite actually has like spiral nickel. You can see almost like a nickel shine. That's why they call it like nickel plated almost. Shungite. It's got like a nickel shine to it. And it's like almost see-through in a way. It's like see-through black. It's like, oh, dude, that shit. I was told by the guy who's from Russia um, that it's about 98 to 99% carbon. So that's like the highest grade shungite you could get. You know, that's why yeah, I won't be able to get it at all after the stock I have now. I don't think, because the guy tried to get more and he can't get it. He had the last shipment he gave to me. Well, he didn't give it to me. I bought it, but the last thing he sent to me, he had to travel to Kiev to ship it. So it was like a big deal, and I had to pay him, you know, a lot of extra money just to get it, just for the trip, and it wasn't worth it. So like, it's not even, you know, I'm barely making money on it if you calculate all the money I had spent just to get it. So, but it's worth it. I mean, people need it, and that's the kind of stuff you'll see if you handle it a little while. There'll be a trace of it on your hands. Like, you can infuse water with it. That's what kind of high quality is. The lower qualities, I wouldn't put it in your water and infuse water. But this one, you can infuse water with that shit. It's like real high quality. It's really good quality. So, and swans, because I actually think I'm right. I was willing to accept the Pelican deal, and it might be a Pelican still, but the whole thing is, where's the jaw? That beak is way too small to have that big, huge jaw hanging that the Pelicans need. I mean, they literally can scoop up fish with that huge jaw. It hangs. There's a huge sack hanging. Does the mother pelican have no jaw? Is it the father pelican that just has that big jaw? Yeah, Aphrodite's involved, but Zeus is the golden shower behind Aphrodite. That's what I was saying. The swan, yeah. I'm getting a number from Connecticut calling me. I don't know what this is. I'm declining that. I don't answer a number unless I have the name in messages. But yeah, yeah, Zeus is the golden rays behind the mother goddess. You know, because it's a mother goddess altar there. That chapel where it is. We'll go back to it real quick. That chapel where it is a chapel dedicated to Don Bosco. Marian shrine. You know, you see the 50-foot rosary black Madonna here, and we're here at the black moon eclipse during the new moon. You know, I used to be in a band that was called the New Moon Tribe. I still have the, you know, I do readings and sense certain things. It might take me a few months. Sometimes I can't. The way I price them, everything. Now sometimes I feel I'm getting a connection, like a reading based on things. Sometimes it actually goes along from different ways, and I feel like that, you know, I have to have a certain silence about me doing stuff like that. And someone's still there too. I'll go back later, because there's something on the neck of the Mary that sometimes I can get the picture up close with it depends the mythology he approaches. He comes, I don't know if he comes in the form of a golden, how it goes. But even Apollo has myths where he even transforms into the sun that's actually bringing life, bringing knowledge, bringing evolution. bringing bacteria and virus that brings evolution. It brings it all. Before life ever started on this planet, like asteroids and all of this, as all that stuff was done, that's when life emerged. That's not be a pelican, it could be a swan, but the thing is, it's straight out of solar litanies and solar mythology is the point of it all. And you could see the shattered sun and the wings of the mother goddess feeding her children from her wound. Pretty intense. And then let's see if I should go up here. I don't want to get in. So this is, when we get closer, this is straight from Don Bosco's premonition. You can see when we get closer, you can see the sun right here on the altar. How many points to the sun? You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We got 12 points to the sun. That's the solar year, right? We got 13 moons, 12 months. And then this is straight from Don Bosco's premonition. We got Don Bosco with Dominic Savio. I don't know, maybe a... But that's what you don't understand, Aphrodite. That's what they put in the public that they want you to believe, like the bleeding heart of Jesus and all of that. But you don't really understand what the true meaning behind solar worship is and what the sun really does. The Rosicrucians and all those secret societies, they were using a dark aspect of this intelligence. It's war over knowledge. So you have two societies. One wanted to protect the ritual by giving the regular mass society an illusion, which includes money. Everybody runs around trying to get money and this and that, while the real knowledge is kept, the ritual is protected. So all the symbolism with Christ and the fish and all this, well, Christ was called also the fisher of men, right? He was also called the shepherd king. These are from the Hyksos shepherd king lines. These are solar dynasties, the Hyksos solar dynasties, right? And the Rosicrucians actually derived the starfire ritual, where Aphrodite has her name, Aphrodite Starfire, right? The starfire ritual was developed. The Rosicrucian name comes from this, right? But they did a perverted version of getting this intelligence. They stopped getting the intelligence from the sun itself, the source of life. They wanted to get, instead of the cosmic womb from above, they wanted to represent that cosmic womb below. Instead of getting the fiery intelligence of the sun, they wanted the fiery fluid intelligence of the woman, which became the menstrual blood of the women, the Rosicrucians. And that's what they call starfire, the Rubius Elixis, right? So they believe the fire coming from the woman's womb is a representation of the sun's fire coming, right? And they wanted to sample that fluid intelligence. So that's where the Rosicrucian's name is from. Rosicruce means red cross, the fiery red cross. That's between the woman's legs, the bleeding red cross. Okay? So that's where her name is actually coming from, Starfire, if you really want to know. And that's their perverted way of representing getting knowledge and intelligence from the sun. It's a dark aspect of knowledge. You shouldn't have to drink the blood to get source. Source's blood is already within you. You already have it within you. You shouldn't have to drink the blood of another to get that intelligence. Otherwise, you'll be getting the intelligence of another. So they get consumed with power. They want the knowledge of other people's bloodlines. They want to consume it, right? It becomes a war over power. And someone that's promoting that would be on the dark side of the Force. So, whether it's a pelican or a swan, go F yourself, as far as I'm concerned. The point of the story is it was about solar worship. But I still appreciate you coming and supporting my channel. Nothing personal. It's not a pissing contest at all. Whoever said about the pissing contest, that's exactly what I was about to say. I was just about to say that. It's not a... But it might be a pelican. You're right. It could be a pelican, in fact. It most likely is a pelican. But I'm saying it doesn't... They didn't... I feel like the jaw part wasn't put right for some reason. It didn't... But I think it might be a pelican. You're right about that. Actually, Greek mythology is not my specialty. I have a lot of other ones that I'm way more versed in, but I know a lot of Greek mythology. Like, I know about a lot of the solar mythologies. But all of this, the mother goddess, queen of heaven that you see here, that all stems from, I mean, there's like 1,000 names. You got Asherah, Atargatis, Atargatis. You know, you have that word Atar. It's all about fertility and solar worship. Even Baal. You could go back to Lebanon and Baalbek. They have the Temple of the Sun in Baal, right there on Baalbek. Yeah, because of the shade, I don't think we can see actually the pentagram that's on her neck. Let me see if we could see it. Oh yeah, you can see it good today. So if you could see, guys, she actually has a pentagram on the middle of her neck that's faded out. Very old. You can see it in this picture, right in the middle, towards the right of center. Right of center. You could see lower right of center of her neck. Can you guys see it? Yeah, it is a pentagram. I agree with you on that. Because they use that with the bleeding heart of Jesus and all that. I do. You're right. When you said that, I was like, oh, she's right about that. I get it. But that wasn't even the... Who's the puppet? I don't know. I'm not arguing with this lady anyway. I don't even care what she's saying. It's all good. I actually like that she comes to my... I like Aphrodite Starfire. I hope you don't stop coming to my... I hope you don't start coming to my live chats, Aphrodite. I like you that you're in here. I think you're cool. But yeah, you guys can see the pentagram on her neck for sure. It's no doubt. I mean, that is undeniable. And in fact, it's like Isis, because the goddess of 1,000 name, even the rosary that she has is in crescent moon shape. As you guys can see, she's holding it. I can't be right all the time, Aphrodite. You got me on the pelican part. Thank you for being here. I can when I'm wrong. But I got to admit, it did first look like a swan, because I felt like the neck and beak area wasn't a pelican. I did think that at one time because I was looking at it. But yeah, see, this thing is 48 feet without the star platform. So This thing with the star platform is well over 60 feet almost. It's like damn near 60 feet. And that's bigger than the Apollo statue that was once in Bulgaria. I think that thing was 48 feet. So this is big, you know. And you can see that the rosary is in crescent moon shape. And ISIS, a lot of them, even Thoth at one time used the crescent moon, and Kenosha from ancient Egypt. But ISIS uses it. A lot of the Queen of Heavens use it. And I actually don't think it actually has to do with the crescent moon. I just think that that's what the mainstream has translated it to be. I actually think it has to do with the solar barge that carries the boat of millions of years, the boat of viruses and bacteria. And it's the mother god of the cosmos, the cosmic womb, carrying the barge. That's just me, though. That's how but see, I'm connected to also secret knowledge. So, you know, that's what I'm trying to say. Swans and pelicans are both interchanged with them both. I told you that from the beginning. And it's interesting because one of the first places that we have documented almost holographic technology of the Queen of Heavens, of the Mother Goddess that you see here, is in right outside of Cairo, right? Because we didn't have this sort of technology when this sort of technology was rediscovered on our planet. What I mean by technology, like cameras and videos and all of this stuff, we didn't start getting that, you know, until like the 50s, 60s and all this stuff, right? So in 1968 was the first time we actually got documented. Look at that sun with her hair. It's amazing. I'm glad we're here right now, guys. And gals, I'm glad we're all here because we're right here during the eclipse as well. And I'm gonna back out of it too soon, so I'm not underneath the sun right during it. But let me put my sunglasses on. So one of the first places, or the first place we have a mother goddess, sort of Queen of Heavens, which of course the Catholic Church has confused now with the Mother of Christ and the Virgin Mary, which is they should portray it as what it really is. It's the Immaculate Conception of old, the Immaculate Conception of Muat, of Isis, of Hathor, and all of these ancient goddesses that we're talking about on the star today. It's the same story, right? It's now talked about as the Virgin Mary. But one of the first places that we have that documented was Zaytun, Egypt in 1968, where it's like almost holographic technology that we get on camera, where a very similar, what you see here in front of you right now, Mary, the Madonna, pictured larger than life, larger than a regular human, standing like this with her hands out, hovering like a holographic image almost over the church chapel in the air. Like you see that house there, it would be hovering over the peak of the chapel in Zaytun, Egypt. This is right outside of Cairo in 1968, and thousands of people got Polaroids and took videos and cameras and stuff of this. And there was all sorts of light anomalies. There was these orbs that you'd see the apparition of Mary hovering there, glowing in white light, and then these white orbs that look like doves around her, and all these light manifestations. The same sort of light manifestations that we saw come on photographs in 1970 in Bayside, Queens, with Veronica Lucan. An old friend of mine, Ingo Swan, he was there and told us that he witnessed that. I met Ingo on the Bowery. He wasn't a real person.